Speaking of dirty cops and misusing protective orders, the What the Hell segment, we got a jam-packed segment. Now, you are being targeted by NYPD cops. That is impressive. Mine is less impressive because I am being targeted by Peninsula, Ohio cops. What the Hales refers to Jeremy Hales and his popular YouTube channel uh, with over close to 750,000 subscribers. He sues people frivolously, including you. That's going nowhere. Last week we talked about how he served the wrong person and crowed about serving the wrong person. He didn't realize he was the wrong person, or maybe he did. I don't think he cares. After that was done, I sent him an email that we'll show in a minute. And after I sent him that email, I received this lovely voicemail that we're going to listen to.
Hi, Mr. Volpe. This is Officer Pongrass with the Peninsula Police Department. I was just calling to let you know, do not contact Jeremy Hales anymore from this point on. A report has been filed, and if you continue to contact him, you will be charged with telecommunications harassment. If you have any questions, give me a call, 330-657-2911. Thank you.
That's interesting. So number one, he's trying to get around a protective order. If you want to get a no contact order, you go to a judge. Number two, if I haven't committed a crime, how do I commit a crime if I send another email? What does that mean? Number three, and most importantly, I was sending him emails. I hadn't called him in a while. So if he's using the if it's hard and fast, the Telecommunications Harassment Act, then definitely he's got nothing. But I was sending him emails asking him questions. So I'm not sure where he gets that all of a sudden that turns into harassment.
I have a question for you. What is your profession?
Journalist.
So you would consider yourself a member of the press, right?
Right.
And isn't there a document that they signed in 1789 called the Bill of Rights?
Yeah. And
in that
this is an end run around the First Amendment.
Isn't there an amendment, the very first one, that talks about the rights of the press?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't say no law shall be made abridging the rights of the press. It doesn't say no law.
Right. So
how can these Ohio law enforcement people claim that there's a law that says that you, as a member of the press, can't ask questions?
Right. And Dennis Pongratz, he's one of these guys. I'm not sure which one he is. Officer Pongratz, that's how you spell his name, because he's a dirty cop. And he was trying to bluff me. It didn't bluff me well, and I'll show you how he didn't bluff me well. But I think he thought he could intimidate me with that phone call. So this is my phone call back to him. Hold on. He's going to get on in about 10 seconds here.
You got a heart monitor on? Jesus.
Yeah.
Peninsula Police Officer Pongrass.
Yeah, hey, officer, this is Mike Volpe. Why don't you explain to me how you're trying to violate my First Amendment? You just what? Obviously what? You just suggested that you and the Pennsylvania, Ohio Police.
Yes.
If what? You're gonna come get me in Chicago?
Hill,
really? Really?
Okay.
Really?
Have a good day.
Really? That's all they would say. Remember, my first article on this thing was the talking points of the Hales crew. These guys, I called their chief, and he said the same thing. Do not contact Jeremy Hales again, or you will be charged. That's a talking point they created.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
He emailed all the prosecutors. I did too. All the prosecutors in the state to put them on notice. The Summit, Ohio prosecutor, the Attorney General, the federal authorities, the federal U.S. attorneys in Ohio. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody's going to have the balls to try to charge you for a First Amendment violation, Michael. That would be pretty funny, actually.
Right. We'll see it. And this is the email, and I guess it's two emails that triggered Hales, JH, Jeremy Hales, I'm going to interview Richard Lutman Sr. in about an hour about your claim you served him rather than his son. Any comment you want to give? Did you serve the wrong party and make a big deal out of it? Also, didn't you already serve him, meaning you, in May and July? Why would you need to serve a third time if you already served him? Do you know that service is only required once? And then I sent him the interview that we did. And that's what triggered him. Now, and that's what he calls harassing. So that's pretty remarkable. And these cops, they said a report has been filed. So next, this is the email I sent yesterday. And this is after the cop called. I'm emailing, and I sent it to Hales, to the chief, to everyone, the mayor and the town council of Peninsula, Ohio, which is like a bumblefuck town of 500 people, and the prosecutor's office. I'm emailing all of you for responses in the podcast I'm going to do tomorrow. This is this podcast. To Mr. Hales, is it your assertion that I have harassed you when you have sent emails to me threatening to intercede in my child custody case and claiming I'm going to jail? Do you think a journalist has a right to ask questions of the subject of his investigation? To Chief Nagy, that's the chief of police. Under what authority did your police officer, Officer Pongratz, issue a threat to me to arrest me if I send any more communications to Mr. Hales? To the mayor and town council, do you think Chief Nagy and Officer Pongratz are dirty cops? Do you approve of them taking taxpayer resources to issue threats to residents of Illinois and to Summit County Prosecutor? That's the county where this is. Are you going to issue an arrest warrant and contact the state of Illinois for an extradition order based on the actions of Mr. Hales, Chief Nagy, and Officer Pongratz? And they have not responded. So far, it is day 2 of the empty threat. We'll see if I'm even allowed to walk the streets next week or if I'm going to jail. Because
we can go on the lam together. We'll go lam. We'll go to the match.
We'll go on the lam together. That's remarkable. Step number 2 is to get this police report that they claim was filed. A police complaint was filed, and step 3 is to find out if I can speak in front of the town council virtually. If I can't, I don't know if it's worth it to go out there. But I want the town council to know these 2 guys, Chief Nagy and Officer Pongratz, they should be mall cops. They shouldn't be regular cops. This is unacceptable. This is, I talked to a guy today. He's like, it's not that big a deal. It's as big a deal as you make it. Number 1. Number 2, no. These guys called me to threaten me using no basis in law whatsoever. There is no basis in law. And I wonder if Hales tried to get a protective order and was denied. And this was step 2, because the proper process to try to shut me down would be to get a protective order. And of course, if he got one, the judge would be on the hook for violating my First Amendment rights. But in this case, he's got these cops trying to violate my First Amendment rights. We're going to see what happens. The next update is Lisa Lee. Is that her last name? Lisa from Two Lees in a Pod. From Two Lees in a Pod. The somewhat popular, the growing and popular podcast that you can find on YouTube.
It's an immensely popular podcast.
Immensely popular podcast. So Hales claimed that he filed a bar complaint, even though she doesn't have a bar card, that she was practicing law without a license. What did she do that you found out to practice law without a license?
All right. So here's the harebrained scheme that these idiots came up with over there. So what happened was Ray Bronecrusher had to send in a response to the court. And what he did was he mailed it down to Lisa to either drop off or to mail to the court herself. So they were talking about whether he wanted to do it. So he did his response that he was going to submit to the Northern District Court in Gainesville. And so they were talking, and Lisa says, okay, well, if you send it to me, I'll either mail it in, or if I have time, I'll even drop it off myself, because I have to drop stuff off there potentially too. So what did they do? Ray mailed it to Lisa. Lisa decides, okay, I'm going to mail this. I'm not going to be able to get down to the courthouse, so I'm going to mail it along with my stuff. Mm-hmm. And the envelope that they put it in had Lisa's name on it as the return address. She was functioning like a mailbox, etc., like a UPS store,
Who cares?
like a post
That's
office.
not practicing law without a license.
In the convoluted mind of Jeremy Hales, that's the practice of law. Actually mailing something for somebody else, acting like that. So in his mind, the manager of a UPS store can be brought up on criminal charges for the felony of the unauthorized practice of law. Now, the best part about this is where he complained. That's the funniest part about this. He complained to the Bar Association of the state of Florida, right? The Bar Association, as we know, there are 3 branches of government, Michael. There's the executive, the judiciary, and there's the legislative. The legislative makes the laws. The executive enforces the laws and investigates violations, and the judiciary interprets the laws and sees that the violations have happened. So the only branch of government that could investigate a situation related to a criminal felony violation would be the executive branch. That would be the cops. You would have to call the cops down in Florida on Lisa Lee and say that she engaged in unauthorized practice of law. He sent this to the Bar Association so that he could avoid being charged with the crime of making a false report to law enforcement. Because sending it to the bar is like sending it to the underwear inspector to see if you shat your pants. They have no formal governmental jurisdiction over anything. Okay? So they're doing a quote-unquote investigation, and that investigation is important if you hold a license for the privilege of practicing law, and that in itself is not a criminal activity, that's a civil activity. So that they would go to court on a civil activity or a recommendation, and it would have to be decided by a judge. And it's under the auspices almost of the judicial branch, it's a quasi-judicial. But there's no investigation powers that they have that are greater than yours or mine or any other private citizens. It's not like this is a judge. If they brought this in front of a judge, the judicial branch, the judge can't even investigate. The judge has to refer it to the executive branch. This is schoolhouse rock. This is basic 3 branches of government. Jeremy Hales must have been absent that day in 2nd grade because he's not the mental acumen of his.
He does this a lot. Hales, he's not trying to get anything right. He's trying to create content and he's trying to create drama. And his fans, he treats you like garbage, and you don't care. And you prove every day that you're very unsophisticated because he does these things that clearly have no basis in law, and you don't care. And you just love the drama. You know, his fans remember February, gets up in front of his fans and says, Mike and Rich are soliciting a violation of a protective order. He made up a crime that doesn't exist. They were actually sending him screenshots of our podcast, and it was total BS, all right, complete and utter garbage. In May, he claimed he's going to intercede in my child custody case. He was never going to intercede in my child custody case. He sues you. He can't serve you. Now he pulls this thing with the Ohio cops. Now he pulls this thing with Lisa. And it's all, he doesn't care if it's like lawful, makes sense. He's just going to create content. His fans are stupid. If you aren't stupid, then explain how any of this is lawful that he's doing. It's terrible. And listen, we're going to extend the What the Hales segment by talking about Danesh. And the reason I want to extend the What the Hales segment by talking about Danesh is, do you agree with me that there are a lot of similarities in terms of personality profile between Danesh Noshirvan and Jeremy Hales? Now, before we talk about that, let's get the latest up on the screen. And there is an update in Danesh's case. And I think the update will segue nicely into all of the similarities between Danesh and Jeremy Hales. So Danesh he's a very mega influencer, you call him. He doxes people, including the U.S. Supreme Court. He doxed one guy so much he committed suicide, turned him into like a child abuser when he wasn't. Doxed a pretty successful plastic surgeon and his wife. Doxed many people. He's a very bad guy.
600 and counting victims of Danesh.
Right.
They identified. It's probably closer to 700 now. And that's
all right. Now hold on. Now first, this guy right here is Nick Chiappetta, and he is, in terms of law practice and personality, very similar to Jeremy Hales' lawyer, Randy Sprocket Shockett. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And that's him. That's Nick Chiappetta. But what is the late Judge Steele lowers the boom on Danesh? How did Judge Steele? Well, first of all, what is Judge Steele's first name? John Steele.
John Steele. John E. Steele. And Michael, this man has softened me to your favorite president. I used to believe there was only one good thing that came out of the Clinton administration, and that was that you could get a blowjob at work and not get in trouble for it too bad. But the second part now is that this guy was a Clinton appointee. Clinton appointed this guy, and I think this guy's a great judge. I think that Clinton did make a good choice, in appointing him. He's made other very, very bad choices when he was president, but this was a good choice that he made. This guy's actually a very good judge, very fair judge. He issued an opinion yesterday. It was about 30-something pages, and he basically called it how it was. Like, I didn't come out as an angel in the thing by any stretch, but the fact is the bad faith that was dripping out of this opinion by way of Danesh Noshirvan and his lawyer Nick Chiappetta is something that's quite remarkable.
Before you go on, we should summarize the case that Judge Steele was issuing an opinion on first.
So there's two cases where it started was Jen Couture and Ralph Garamone, the plastic surgeon, and his wife were attacked mercilessly by Danesh Noshirvan and his internet mob. And doxxed, and they were just destroyed on all social media platforms. They affected their lives, they affected their business, they went after their family members, they went after their teenage daughter. It was just a harassment to a whole new level, to the point that it created PTSD, it created mental things for people, it created all sorts of physical things, threats, it created business losses, it created all sorts of problems. So they sued in front of Judge Polster Chappell, and then Danesh, instead of counterclaiming, filed his own separate suit for defamation and other things against Jen and Ralph and all their businesses and their lawyer, claiming that they said he was a predator.
Hold on. Before you go on, would you say that Danesh's suit claiming defamation was frivolous?
Without question.
So there is one more similarity between Danesh Noshirvan and Jeremy Hales. They like to file frivolous defamation lawsuits. And
it's not even frivolous. It's been proof. The proof is in the pudding that Judge Steele previously got rid of dismissed the second complaint, the second amended complaint. He dismissed about 10 parties, a bunch of these corporations that had a relationship to Jen and Ralph Garamone, and also dismissed a bunch of claims to say that they had no basis in fact or law, that they were not viable claims. So the proof's in the pudding that they threw it against the wall to see what stuck. And that was only a very small spread portion.
Hold on. So kind of like Jeremy Hale's lawsuit, which includes you. He just throws everything against the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Right? The only difference is you have a competent judge here. We have an incompetent magistrate, Bozo, who's just sitting on the lawsuit and refuses to.
I don't think Bozo's even looked at this yet. When he gets a chance to take a look at the whole case, I am confident that justice will prevail. I have trust in the Florida justice system, the federal courts of Florida especially. But what I have to say about this is he comes in with this case, right? And he claimed this entire issue with witness intimidation. He claimed that I, along with others, this other guy named Joey Camp, who's some guy who's just an internet guy, and he
hold on. You have talked to Joey Camp.
Yeah, he's a source.
You used him as a source of information.
And he reported to it.
Is there anything wrong with that?
No.
All right.
But I do for a living. I'm a journalist. I try to get the information.
People quote Sammy the Bull Gravano all the time, even though they know that he's admitted to 19 murders. Somehow that's okay. But you use Joey Camp, who has a much, much smaller criminal record than Sammy the Bull Gravano. And suddenly you're him, and it's the same. It's one and the same. And they use this very loose connection to go after you. And that's also very similar to Jeremy Hales. He uses any loose connection to connect people every which way, no matter how loose it is.
So what happened? They attacked me, and they basically scared me in the sense that they've contacted law enforcement in Mansfield, Pennsylvania, and in Tioga County, Pennsylvania, that have also contacted me the same way that Peninsula contacted you. Don't talk to Danesh. So I'm fearful for my
life. The same thing. Interesting. So you're saying the same kind of cops calling you to say don't talk to Danesh, because Danesh, like like Jeremy Hales loves to claim he's being harassed. Am I right? Does Danesh, even though he puts out videos and doxes people, and Jeremy Hales puts out videos and follows people and is constantly harassing people in videos, he claims to be the victims. They both use that harassment as both a sword and a shield. Am I right?
And his officer Harson-Chuck called me up. I don't think she's as dirty as pomegranates. I think she was just pushing papers and just wanted things to stay out of the way. But that being said, I still got that, and I have to worry. Then
but you got a similar call from bumblefuck nowhere in another city in another state the way I did.
I got two. I got one on Danesh, and I got another one on Megan Fox from
right. You think that's a coincidence, folks? No, that's a tactic. That the same way that talking points are a tactic. Let's get to now. Describe
the other point. The other point's important, Mike. The other point is that Dick Chiappetta then and Danesh Noshirvan spun a tale that I had engaged in the crime of federal witness tampering. The federal witness tampering.
Wait. Is that similar to the way that one Shara Michelle Wolf accused me of federal witness tampering?
One and the same. Federal witness tampering, and they said the FBI was involved, and that my crimes were being
in the same way that Jeremy Hales falsely claimed the FBI was involved in our solicitation of violating a protective order. Wow. Now,
so I was obligated in May when they had a hearing on this to assert my rights under the Fifth Amendment, because I don't know what type of lawfare or weaponized justice these people are capable of, and because they already have the Tioga County District Attorney evidently on the wraps because of Hannah Butcher Noshirvan, Dinesh's wife's family connection with the people in that area. I don't know what they're going to do to me. So I had to assert the Fifth Amendment, especially because they were going to run to federal prosecutors. Now, I'm a lot more comfortable now with this administration that weaponization has come to an end. But that's what this guy does. He tries to get people in trouble by lying in bad faith to the Fed. Well, Judge Steele saw right through this guy's bullshit. And the reason why he saw through the bullshit, if you go back up, you'll show the picture of Julian Jackson Fannin. Julian Jackson Fannin right there is one of the excellent attorneys in Miami. He's a leader of the Wilkie Ferguson Bar Association. It's the oldest black bar association in Florida. He's a civil rights lawyer. He's a top litigator, federal court litigator for Dwayne Morris, LLP. And what happens, Danesh was misbehaving, as the understatement of the year, at a deposition for his wife. His wife was supposed to have a deposition.
Wait. Danesh was misbehaving in a deposition?
Yes.
You mean the way that Jeremy Hales was both non-responsive and argumentative repeatedly through the deposition that he took last year with Bruce Matskin, where we went over it with Bruce in the same way, and kind of the same way, right? They both like to misbehave in depositions. Go ahead.
Yes. And so then he made a story, and he concocted a story on his the next day after this deposition where they went through. Danesh barged in the door, right? He's not supposed to be there. They did a video deposition. His wife was supposed to be on the deposition, and Danesh barges in, uses profanity, goes after the lawyers who are asking legitimate questions about the case. Okay. Then he concocts on social media to all his millions of followers the next day that the civil rights lawyer, Julian Jackson Fannin, is a low-class racist. He doesn't know the difference between black people and monsters. He's a racist pig. He's a misogynist. All these things that were untrue were clearly and demonstrably untrue. We had a transcript that
he likes to also engage in what would technically be called defamation and lying about people in the same way that Jeremy Hales likes to do it, and then sues for defamation in a frivolous way. Boy, these guys.
The whole purpose of the lies was to rile up his online mob.
In the same way. In the same way. These guys are working out of the same playbook.
Now, Danesh has got the bigger problem here because the court is wise to him, and Danesh has done this already to the Supreme Court of the United States. And it could very well be a crime. 18 U.S.C. 115 is one of the crimes that he could be charged with. And my contacts in the Trump administration have said that, the unresponsiveness for the 2020 activities, or 2022 activities, actually, that happened, may very well soon be rectified. And that, again, is after the November election. Now, here, this is the most important part. The problem isn't Danesh. He's a problem. But the bigger problem that the court has is Nick Chiappetta. Nick Chiappetta.
All right, now let's talk about somebody important. So describe Chiappetta a little bit, and also after you do that, explain how you think that he's similar to Hales' lawyer, Randall Sprocket.
Go down to the section on Chiappetta. There's the email that I sent to the Florida bar. But Nick Chiappetta is an attorney in Florida. He's a bottom feeder attorney. That's that guy. And I called him an ambulance.
That's similar to Shockett. He's a bottom feeder too.
He's the ambulance chaser attorney. And so the fact of the matter is, he has committed the cardinal sin of the practice of law. When you have a client that goes and attacks and tries to destroy another attorney in bad faith, intentionally malicious ways, you have to get your client under control. You know, you hear it all the time, you know, in the deposition.
Oh, it's sort of like if your client is misbehaving in a deposition, it is your responsibility to get him under control.
Yes, you're supposed to.
Yeah, the way that Shockett failed in his responsibility when his client, Jeremy Hales, was clearly out of control, repeatedly insulting Bruce Matskin, refusing to answer his questions, going on diatribes repeatedly over and over and over again. And somehow Magistrate Bozo said everybody was responsible except for the court transcriber. She was professional, according to Magistrate Bozo. But listen, if a Bozo the clown is giving you a compliment, it's not really a compliment. But that's another similarity. Go ahead.
So what Chiappetta did was, he not only, after this email was sent
and this
out,
is the email you sent, and who'd you send this to? Members of the grievance committee.
The grievance committee, right? The grievance committee in Florida, and this is a District 15 in Florida that covers Lake Worth and Palm Beach and West Palm Beach, where Chiappetta has his offices. And I'm talking not about my allegations. These are things that are in the actual opinion that Judge Steele said, the opinion and order from yesterday. If you look, the court found Mr. Chiappetta, one.
All right, well, let's read them. One, acted in bad faith in connection with a deposition and its aftermath. You mean like when Jeremy Hale's attorney, Randall Shockett, deposed Amanda Martin, even though she had nothing to do with the underlying case. This was a defamation case, and Amanda Martin was a victim advocate for a protective order that had nothing to do with anything. He just didn't like her, wanted to depose her. So something like that, right? Very similar. Declined to restrain his client's misconduct despite repeated opportunities and professional obligations to do so, just the way Shockett did with Hales. Enabled and greenlit his client's online harassment and incitement after initially advising the client to remove defamatory Substack post targeting opposing counsel. Exhibiting a, quote, lingering belief that his client's sanctionable conduct was, quote, understandable given the circumstances, despite clear violations of professional standards.
Now,
these are
remove Substack, Michael, and put in YouTube, and you have Jeremy Hales and Randy Shockett.
Correct. We do. What you have are two scummy people who misuse the law for content, who cry victim even though they can dish it out when they can't take it, who incorporate bad cops and then find scummy lawyers to do their bidding, including not reining them in depositions, filing frivolous lawsuits, filing frivolous filings, anything else you can think of that are similar.
Well, if you read what's in this about Judge Steele, this is actually from Judge Steele's opinion. Read both paragraphs that are indented. One with Nick Chiappetta has failed, and then after that,
Nick Chiappetta has failed to meet the professional standard expected from officers of the court in connection with the deposition and its aftermath. Chiappetta must adhere to all rules regulating the Florida bar, including not to engage in conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, including disparaging, humiliating, or discriminating on any basis.
Now,
and what
Florida, that's discrimination. That's the Florida bar rules, and he discriminates on the basis of race. And what about Bruce Matskin, Mike? What about Bruce Matskin?
Jeremy Hales repeatedly referred to Bruce Matskin as Deuce Foreskin because he's Jewish, a blatantly anti-Semitic slur that Shockett allows. Very similar as well. Let's read the next paragraph. Additionally, Chiappetta initially advised Noshirvan to delete the April 16th Substack post in favor of seeking relief from the court instead. Chiappetta stating that he, quote, asked Noshirvan to take the post down, which Noshirvan did. Noshirvan stating the April 16 post was deleted because Chiappetta would, quote, be addressing the behavior displayed by, quote, by Jackson Phantom with the court. But Chiappetta then greenlit Noshirvan to resume posting. Noshirvan stating that, quote, Chiappetta says I can restore the Substack post now. The need to sanction Chiappetta is underscored by Chiappetta's lingering belief that Noshirvan's conduct was justified. Chiappetta stating underneath the, quote, factual background section that while Noshirvan's statement at the deposition were not the nicest, they certainly were understandable given the circumstances. And in the same way, Shockett defends all of Hales' behavior, specifically his completely way over the top behavior in the deposition. Do you have a transcript of this deposition from Noshirvan?
I believe there's. I could probably. I think I have it, or I can get a copy of the. It's not.
I think we should compare and contrast these two. In the next episode, we may compare and contrast the depositions of Jeremy Hales and Danesh Noshirvan.
In the actual opinion, if you want to click on the opinion, go up to the opinion and click on that. It actually has it. Go down a little further, right at the bottom, the last thing. Right. U.S. courts. In that opinion itself, it's made public large portions of the deposition. Okay, keep going down. You'll see when it's indented. Just keep scrolling. Okay, that's Rule 11. Keep going. That's the court's inherent power. Keep going. And then it has a whole thing in here, and we'll have this ready for next week, next to the other stuff. But the deposition transcript is in here. Is that it right there? Go back up. Right there.
All right. And your costume was the same. It was the costume before me. It was the costume after me. It was the costume for that character. And your costume makeup was the same. Yes, the makeup was the same. So you don't harbor any animosity towards African Americans or black people. No, I do not. And I also take offense at that picture is labeled blackface picture. That is not blackface. Okay. It has been taken out of context. Okay. You can see I have zombie contact lenses on. So okay. How is that relevant?
Keep going down. That's when they said the picture was a blackface. Now watch what happens. Now look what happened. Go back up there. Go back up. That's what now Danesh barges into the room. That's Jackson Phantom lawyer. Read.
All right. Mrs. Noshirvan, please, Mr. Chiappetta, please advise your client that she needs to answer my questions. Whoa. I'll remember this at settlement. I'll remember this shit at settlement. That's straight out of the Hales playbook by Mr. Jackson Phantom question. Now we understand. Is Mr. Noshirvan in the room with you, Mrs. Noshirvan? No, he's not. He was in the hallway. Was he there just a moment ago in the room with you? No, he was not. Well, then what was the voice that we just heard, Mrs. Noshirvan? He's in the hallway. Is the door open and is he visible from your right now? No, the door was cracked. Okay, so then Mr. Chiappetta, please advise your client to answer my questions. Stop, Danesh, stop. Uh-oh. Act with decency, motherfucker. Maybe I will. What are you asking her about? You dumb shit. You're asking her about photos. This is the Jeremy Hales playbook. Unbelievable. Danesh, stop. This guy Chiappetta went further than Shockett ever did by saying stop right there. What the fuck is wrong with you? Danesh, stop. Walk away. I'm sorry. I hear him from the hallway. And he was triggered by whatever this guy asked. Unbelievable. Mr. Chiappetta, would you like to advise your client? I closed the door. And then Chiappetta, no, I think your entire line of questioning is inappropriate. This is not a conversation that involves the deponent in any way whatsoever. It's between two other individuals, and you are just trying to get some type of impression, create a reaction, which you just did, which is fantastic. So I hope that Ms. Couture and Dr. Gurman, who are on this deposition as well, see just how great of a job you're doing because, you definitely inspired my client to take this all the way. So good job. And acting the same way, this is that like bullying behavior that you see from Shockett all the time.
Like the lawyers are supposed to corral people. Like, you go to a court case and a defamation case like this, it's not like it's a commercial litigation. That GE.
All right, and hold on. I want to make sure I understand it. I want to make sure. Hold on. I want to make sure I understand this. What we're reading from is an order.
That's the order itself.
Yeah, folks. This is not This is not one lawyer pointing these out as bad to the judge about the other lawyer. This is a judge pointing these things out about a lawyer. This is a really big deal.
The factual record. These are the facts. This is the finding of fact by Judge Steele in the Middle District of Florida. This is the law of the land. The law of the land based on these facts.
Right, that he cited from the deposition is a very big deal. And Magistrate Bozo should have taken the same opportunity.
Right there, Mike, too. Look at the next paragraph. He talks about the Substack, the incitement of the mob. He talks all about this stuff. We have this in a federal court document. Now, I said it before, Jeremy Hales and Randy Shotgun are in trouble now because we have precedent right now in the state of Florida federal court, the Middle District, for the same type of activity that Jeremy Hales is engaging in. So these cases are not companion cases, not only because I'm a party in both cases. I'm a party with Danesh Noshirvan suing him, and I'm also being sued by Jeremy Hales. So they're linked now for that reason, and that Jeremy Hales' lawyers contacted Danesh Noshirvan's lawyers. They're linked for that. Now they're linked by a legal opinion and findings of fact and law by a federal judge. So this is a big problem for everybody.
Right. We're going to interconnect these two cases going forward as we go on. All right. That is the end of the What the Hell segment.